back to my channel. Yes, today is Wednesday, and we all know what that is. Spooky animation. I can't call that. But let's get on with greeting. Hello, my name is Daniel. I'll be a host here.
Guy in the chair.
And today, for spooky animation, this is a true breaking horror story. So let's check it out and enjoy. So enjoy.
This happened in 2012 when I was 10 years old. My family of 7 had just moved into a new house in a sketchy neighborhood. There had already been several arrests on our block, and some houses had even been destroyed by fire. The house itself was old, very old. The basement looked like something out of the Italian catacombs. It was completely unfinished, with nothing but dirt for a floor. When we moved in, we noticed the basement door had been locked with a chain from the inside. That should have been our first warning. There was also a lot of windows throughout the house. To get from my room to the bathroom, I had to walk past the kitchen and the back door. Anyone who grew up in a rough area knows how unsettling it is to walk past uncovered windows at night. That detail will matter later. I shared a room with my older brother Nick. I was always a pretty paranoid kid and had trouble falling asleep, which is embarrassing to admit, but I used a nightlight until I was 12. One night, around 3 a.m., I woke up with a full bladder. I tried to ignore it, but the urge became unbearable. I hesitated, gathering my courage, before finally making my way to the bathroom. I walked slowly, cautiously checking every window as I passed. Everything seemed normal. I took a few more steps and turned into the living room, and my heart sank. A homeless-looking man stood at our back door, his hands cupped around his eyes as he peered inside. I froze, my breath catching in my throat. Then, moving as silently as I could, I ducked behind the couch. My mind raced. Did he see me? I needed to wake up Nick. He was 3 years older than me and had a cell phone. I didn't. I began crawling toward our room when I heard something that made my stomach drop. The back door lock turned. This man, this stranger, had a key to our house. For the first time in my life, I whispered, "Shit." I pressed myself tighter against the couch, barely daring to breathe. The door creaked open. The man stepped inside, moving carefully, quietly, as if he had done this before. He was tall, around 6'2", with a long, graying beard that reached his chest. A hat and a hoodie concealed most of his face. He walked into the kitchen and opened our pantry, casually pulling out a bag of chips. Then, without hesitation, he unbolted the basement door and disappeared down the stairs, leaving it unlocked. For a moment, I just sat there, paralyzed. Then, panic set in. I realized something terrifying. He would hear my footsteps if I tried to move. My mind raced for a solution. I spotted my little sister's blanket draped over the couch. Carefully, I pulled it toward me and slid my feet onto it, using it to muffle my steps as I made my way toward the kitchen. The basement door was only a few feet away. I swallowed hard and whispered to myself, "Screw it." Then I sprinted. I reached the door and slammed the bolt shut, just as I heard heavy footsteps pounding up the basement stairs. A loud thud rattled the door. I turned and bolted up the stairs leading to my parents' bedroom, grabbing a knife from the kitchen counter as I ran. I shook my dad awake, my whole body trembling. There's a man in the basement," I managed to stammer. My dad shot up instantly, grabbing the knife from my hand. He was a military veteran, a big guy who worked out every day. If anyone could handle this, it was him. My mom, meanwhile, called the police. They said they were 5 minutes away. She didn't want to leave my little sister downstairs, so she took my hand, and together, we made our way back to the kitchen. Just as we stepped onto the floor, the basement door exploded open. The man tackled my dad, sending them both crashing to the ground. They struggled, fists flying, my dad trying to pin him down. I didn't think, I just reacted. I sprinted to the kitchen, grabbed another knife, and rushed toward them. My hands shook, but I raised the blade, ready to stab the man.
Give it to me!
My mom shouted. I hesitated but handed her the knife. Without missing a beat, she stabbed the man in the back. He let out a strangled cry, giving my dad the chance to overpower him. My dad flipped him over, pinning him face down with his arms locked behind his back. I stood there, panting, my heart hammering in my chest. The sirens. The police stormed inside. My siblings, now awake, ran into the room, screaming at the sight of the blood-streaked floor. My older sisters pulled me into a hug, wiping away my tears as I shook uncontrollably. The man survived the stabbing and was taken to the hospital before being arrested. But the scariest part, we never figured out how he had a key to our house. That night still haunts me. I don't know what he wanted. I don't know how long he had been coming and going. And I don't know what would have happened if I hadn't locked that basement door in time. But I do know one thing. My mom didn't let me stab him because she didn't want me to carry that weight for the rest of my life. And for that, I'll always be grateful.
Yeah, that's pretty creepy, but I would have yelled out, like, what the heck, or screamed for help. Something woke the house up. But you never know, kids. But either way, I hope you liked it. You want to steal more, so don't forget to like it, comment, share, and then subscribe. But I'll leave it to the right here before we go. I hope you had an awesome day and the rest of the day goes really well. And I'll see you in the next video. Bye.